All right. It says, Trina, it says that we are, he says, do you got it? And I think we got it. I think we got it. Welcome, everybody. If you have found yourself here, then you have found yourself in the right place at the right time, because this is the place to be at. And welcome. Tuesdays, we have our show, A Second Look, all the time with my beautiful co-host and co-pilot, Miss Trina Phoenix. So how are you, my darling? Looking fabulous as always.
Thank you. It's a wonderful day in your neighborhood. That's all I can say about that.
Hey, I happen to agree with you on that. I'm not going to argue that at all. It's like, yeah,
Yes.
that's reality. Yeah, it is reality. So let me just welcome all the moderators. We love you. Thank you. You do a fabulous job, and all the rest. Much love to all of you. So thank you for being a part of this. Lori, good to see you. You got that right. It is the place to be at. So, Trina, how have you been since the last time we got together?
Very wonderful. Energies have been very powerful. Portals are opening. There's just so much going on, energetically speaking. Getting a lot of contemplation about power of word and the effects of reprogramming the subconscious mind, and just a lot going on in my consciousness. I think it's this astrology too is very powerful right now.
Yeah, I mean, as they would say, the forces they be assembling. Hey, Brenda, Street Mom, how are you doing, my dear? Good to see you, hon. Chloe and all the rest of Bernadette, good to see you, and Lori. So, yeah, it's interesting because we're all being prepared. We're being set up, but at the same time, they're preparing for whatever the hell it is that seems like they are hell bent, quote unquote. They want a war. And I know we don't talk politics here, but on occasion, because the show is called A Second Look, you and I were talking before we went live. And by the way, folks, Kaz Hawks will be joining us a little bit later. But we were talking, and I was talking about the fact that Putin has pulled out of the START agreement, that strategic arms agreement. And he, in his speech, kind of like what we do here with the State of the Union, he said that one only has to look at the past to understand the road to the future. That's freaking profound. But he was talking about the fact that, and here's something that most people don't think about. There is a country that has used nuclear weapons in an aggressive manner. And subsequently, hundreds of thousands of lives were sacrificed in a blink of an eye. That's the United States. Now, the justification, they say, Trina, was because, well, it ended the war and, saved millions of lives as opposed to the million or so that they sacrificed. Well, if I was Putin, and as he has now pointed out, the United States did it, he now feels threatened. So they want a war, and it appears they're going to have a war.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. It really does, because you have this force, which I call us. We're saying no, we don't. We reject the narrative. It's all wrong.
Yes, all wrong.
We've seen this before, and it never turns out good for us. Here's Kaz. But
for anybody, this is stupid.
It is stupid.
It's stupid.
And it billions of lives are now on the proverbial altar, so to speak. I don't like this. I don't like this future, but wow, I guess there's stronger powers than me. Kaz is coming on. I can see there, Kaz. We see you.
Hi. You know what, though? I don't think there's stronger powers than we, if we could actually figure it out.
Well, they definitely have the big bing, the things that go bang. And when those
But you
things
know what,
go,
though? I also have seen powers that can disassemble those things that go bang in midair in the blink of an eye and do 360s around them and shoot them with laser beams. So I also have seen that.
well, of course, then you're assuming that those are the good guys that
No,
can
I
do
don't
that.
know what their agenda is, but I do know that this might get bigger than we anticipate, because I do think there might be some intervention if we could go atomic war. Hi, Kat.
Hey, Cass, how are you,
Hi.
dear?
Oh, I made it. Oh, God, I'm
Yeah,
just
it's like, man,
I'm having
do
a
you
hottie.
need a fan and a little ice pack?
I had a panic because it's like the traffic was so bad coming out the
Oh, don't
city.
panic, Kaz. You can always be late. We'll wait for you. We love you.
Absolutely.
I know, but I just was like, ugh, then the computer wouldn't turn on. I was
And of
like,
course, that just stresses you out even more. It's like,
this
what
is
the?
going to happen whether you lot like it or not. So,
That's a winning attitude.
Yes.
oh God,
So,
I've
Cass,
just got
how are you?
sick.
Haven't seen you in a long while, and it's so good to have you on. And so, tell us
I'm
what your world is
okay.
like.
It's hectic, and it's been a really crap day today for me. Sorry, it's been really
Well,
shit.
it's reality. I mean, yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
Let's just
I got
say
sacked
damn
again,
that.
but she didn't. She only threatened it. So I've been sacked twice in a month, but I've still got my job because they love me.
Wow. That sucks. And by the way, Isby, Starseed, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
having a difficult time. And then Gilbert, he was supposed to have surgery and they didn't like his blood work. So so was it the flu or is it just,
No.
wintertime sickness?
Who?
You. Were
No,
you sick,
I
you said, a couple of times this month?
sacked.
Oh,
Fired.
oh,
From her
okay.
job.
And because I asked for my job back, I said, please don't sack me. And she decided not to. There was a lot of conditions in the terms and conditions of what I have to do, make sure it's done. And one of them was like not be cheeky, don't answer back, which is really
Cheeky,
hard.
that's a term for what, being a smart ass on over here.
Well, yeah, not smart ass, just standing up for your rights when you know you've done nothing wrong. Just standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah, you know where I heard that
do.
word before, Cass? You know where I heard that word the first time?
What?
In the movie Hard Day's Night. Paul McCartney
right.
actually said it. He says, "Don't be cheeky." And he was talking to John Lennon. He says, "Don't be cheeky." And I was like, wow, I never heard that before. But
Cheeky
that movie
like in English.
probably older than you are, Cass, I would think.
I think so.
Yeah, by a few decades,
probably.
I would think.
You talk about a lot of things in the year when I was born, when you were having a great time.
Yeah.
70.
Oh, yeah, it was.
I'm 50 this year, guys. 50. It just sounds wrong. What's that?
Yeah, I know.
But you don't look 50 at all, I can tell you that. You look
Good.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And hey, Marie, good to see you. And as my wife said, age is just a number.
It's a number. I'm me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm Kaz, not 50.
Been thinking a lot, on that aspect, because time is passing. I mean, and I don't know about y'all, but it's like freaking speeding up.
It's
Literally.
speeding up big time. Yeah.
And today, I was in the kitchen preparing a recipe, Mississippi chicken, by the way. It's really good. If you want it, let me know. And then all of a sudden, I found myself in a meditative state where I'm speaking to my parents. Subsequently, my grandparents, who I didn't know, But I'm speaking to them, and I won't get into what I said, but basically it was, you could say it was a spell, you could say it was a blessing, whatever it was. And when I got out of this mini little trance, the strangest thing, I heard this voice that said, and get this. So I wrote it down. It says, speak to those who have crossed over. You have in this realm the power of the spoken word. Your word spoken by your breath, your roh, your spirit, carries over to the other side. And it's, for many cases, for my parents, I saw specifically, it helped turn some things around that they were obviously dealing with. And furthermore, and I'll finish up with this, my spirit guide says you can speak words now and send them into the future for not only yourself, but for others when you cross over.
Wow.
Your words can become like a message in a bottle.
Yeah.
And the
Wow.
thing about makes it so important is that you have to understand, while we're in these physical bodies, we have this amazing ability of words. And so think about this. I could say, Kaz, I'm sending you ikatatsu. I could see you in a future time where you're going to just need to have this favor. It will just simply appear. And these words are not for you now, but they will be for you in the centuries or millennia to come.
That's awesome.
I just sealed it. It's already done.
Really?
Mhm.
Trina, I see you shaking your head. What say you?
I love that, because when you create that with intention, I just see it go straight into a circle, and it affects the now moment, the future, and the past. It affects all three simultaneously. That's how powerful it is.
Yeah, that when we breathe that word, I create what I speak.
Abracadabra.
There you go.
Ka.
And and so when this hit me, I immediately go and I start looking into this. So in the southern regions of the world, they have that Day of the Dead. And it is the belief that on that day, the spirit realm and the physical realm have a bridge. And that's why you give the prayers and the offerings to those who have already passed over. And it's like a lifeline sometimes. It's something that is transcended going through there. So
Wow.
heavy, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you did a show on the day. You mentioned that in a show before, Day of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mardi Gras wrapped up this weekend, and, so now we're going to get into what I call one of the most weirdest customs. I mean, you're putting, and I know it's metaphorically, but it's Ash Wednesday tomorrow. So you'll see on the news, and you'll see on some of the, major networks, you'll see the people that actually have, the ash that then is put into the sigil of the cross.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And it's interesting when you think about this, folks, that where they're putting that, you're putting the dead ash of a human being. That's just what it's representative. But you're putting it right over your third eye. It closes your third eye.
Wow.
Very few customs do you actually have. The Hindus, you'll see many times that they have a dot that's right below the third eye for activation. But in this religion, when they put the seal of the cross in the ashes, it seals your third eye, literally.
Crikey.
Did you know that, Trina?
No, I'm like, wow. I had no
I
idea.
know, it's like, wow.
I'm
I mean,
wow.
it's like,
I had
holy
no idea.
crap-ola,
Yeah, I'm learning so
So
much about religion.
whose dead
I had no
ashes do
idea.
you put there?
Well,
Anybody's.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, they have, blessed ashes, which you'll see them at the time the priest is putting it on, but that's what
That
it's
could
representing.
curse you.
It's
Who knows who that is? It might be some weird spirit that's gonna.
well, you think about it, it brands you.
Yeah, that's what I was
Now,
thinking.
I've told this before. I was about that close from being murdered. And, I was a young lad of 16. Mm-mm-mm-mm. But anyway, divine intervention. But one of the individuals that actually had the gun said, "Man, we can't touch him." And the two guys in the front seat are saying, "What do you mean you can't?" He says, "Man, he says, can't you see it?" And he was freaking out. He saw a seal on my forehead.
Wow.
And then the next, and then the next chain of events, we were at this stoplight, and there would happen to be two patrol cars that pulled up in each side of the car. And the one cop that just happened to look over, he still said today, he said something told me I had to, get out. And sure enough, yeah.
Wow.
But what's that, Trina?
Every time you say that, I get the chills all over my whole body because that happened to me.
I just did then.
Yeah, and that happened to me when I was doing some healing work, and this person had a lot of dark energies and he was clearing them. Well, apparently one of them followed us home because I was driving him to his residence, and on the freeway, literally like a dementor from Harry Potter came out of the freeway and literally slammed into my car and hit my windshield so hard it broke it. And right where my third eye was in the glass was a cross. And the guy that was sitting next to me, he says, "That thing was coming to get you, and it's like it hit a brick wall." And he goes, "You're sealed." He said the same thing to me. And he said he could tell because when that thing tried to get me, it like hit a wall. I was like, wow. So yeah, every time you say that, Wayne, I get the chills up and down my whole entire body. I'm like, I still kind of don't know what that all means, but I know there's something to it.
Yeah, and, here it is, some 50 years later, and you look at it and you're going, yeah, I mean, but it's
whoa, wow.
Yeah, it's something.
My hair's gone all goosebumpy. It's great. I'm like, whoa, that's buzzing.
I love it. I love it. By the way, happy birthday, Paul Joe. I understand. So
happy birthday.
It's his birthday tomorrow.
Birthday.
So well, it's so and again, I mean, it taught me, it's one of those. I'm sure that when I cross over, I'm going to look at that and go, why didn't I figure that out? It's like, duh, but hey, we're all just trying to figure it out here. It's true.
Yeah.
And I think that so many of us, it's the only way it can be, and it goes back, all the way to the story of Cain. Cain had the mark. Now they say that for Cain, a horn grew out of that same area. Once he had been marked, and a horn is represented as wisdom. So when you see in mythology any of the humans that have horns, that is an indication that they're very wise.
Wow.
So it tells me that, okay, and I'll get off into what got me tuned into this years and years ago. So Paul, who is this magician, the Apostle Paul, you're going to go to hell for that, but that's all right. He said that there are those who are predestined for salvation, implying that there are those who are predestined not for salvation. Now, what's really weird about that phrase there is he's saying that some of us are marked and some of us aren't. I mean, that's what it's implying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I can see that going down a couple different paths. But it's so amazing when you talk about the horns, all I can hear is, yeah, it's the symbology of the antenna
Mm-hmm.
that you're connected to something extremely, more powerful than just the human consciousness matrix that most people are just existing in. You're connecting to a higher power, higher level of consciousness through the antenna.
When
Trina,
you think about it, when you say horn, I think of rhino or elephant.
Okay,
And
like a
they're
tusk.
wise and
Oh yeah.
Yep.
powerful and
Yeah.
I mean,
all that
elephants
power.
bury their dead.
Yeah.
They
they're so
mourn their
smart.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that not sentience? How is that
it
not
is.
conscious? I mean, they
is.
They go
mourn.
back every year, don't they, as well? They go
Yeah,
back every year.
yeah.
I think they have a soul, a literal soul. And like I said, I think the soul develops through the physical template that you enter into. The spirit enters into many templates and you gain a soul for that template because it merges the spirit with the body. Without that connection, it couldn't animate. It couldn't be conscious.
I saw recently a couple of pictures. There was a lion who had been injured, and a man had come up and started administrating, which he was very brave to do this, but helped the lion, with the wound. And the lion, excuse me, it was a tiger. Yeah, it was a tiger, big old Bengal tiger,
Yeah,
gave the guy a hug.
absolutely.
Oh,
I've,
God, that
I've,
gave me
yes.
goosebumps.
Yeah, I mean, it tells me, this illusion that this realm we live in now, there was a time when we had to have been in cohesion with the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom.
I
Wayne, I
believe
just
so.
saw a story recently similar to that. Two bear cubs, their mom got hit by a car or something. So he took the cubs and he raised them until they were big enough to fend on their own. And they went off in the forest and he never saw them again. And one day he was about to get attacked by a lion. And those bears came out of nowhere when they heard him screaming and they saved his life.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep. And then he never saw him again after that. He waits, but he still hasn't seen him again. But as soon as he needed them, they showed up in that forest and they saved his life and they took that tiger or lion down.
Way to go. It's
Yeah.
interesting you mention this because, with Dancer, Dancer's been with us 13 plus years.
I think we're taught
What's that,
so
hon?
wrong about what, and I think we're taught so wrong how animals behave from, doctrine. Just it's ingrained into us that this is how fear the lion, fear the tiger, fear the jungle, where it's not at all. Once you connect and your energy, they could see it's all about energy, isn't it?
Well,
With animals,
horses
they pick up.
as Trina, horses, Lynn loves horses, but she has this fear. And I said, well, the thing is, you're emitting pheromones that alerts the horse that you're afraid of it. And I said, they're magnificent creatures. I mean, if you approach
Wayne,
them,
I think that's what saved me with that bobcat I ran into on accident this last year. Because I walked into a courtyard with a sleeping bobcat and I startled it. And that's not a good thing. And I was in a courtyard. I'm in a fenced
what
cage
not to do
with a bobcat, So, I got super still and I connected to my heart and I was like, I mean no harm to you. And I looked straight in its eyes and I was like, I love you. And it was, the hair was up on it and it just started to just calm down, but it wouldn't take its eyes off me, but you could see it was scanning everything around it at the same time. And I thought, oh my gosh, this cat might just totally attack me because I scared it. I totally scared it. That is really bad when you scare one like that. That's when things go wrong. But I was just very calm and still. And I was like, I mean you no harm. I love you. And that cat looked in my eyes and I looked in its eyes and I was like, my God, your eyes are so green. And as soon as I said that, she just, everything changed. And then she looked at me again and then she jumped at the top of the wall. I'm like, oh God, now she's really at pounce level. And she didn't, she just took off. And I was like, oh, wow.
they say in I like doing a little paranormal ghost hunting, but the interesting thing is that we know dogs, we know cats,
Yeah.
that they can see into the ethereal realm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm believing that gift may also transcend to many other different species. A feline is a feline, right?
I think all, Wayne, all.
Yeah, I think so.
All.
So that always lets me, because here my mind's going, okay, so Wayne, think about this. If they can see that, imagine if you could get in tune with your dog, your cat or whatever, that when you could almost use them as this extra set of eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. People are freaked out about the Ouija board or spirit board or seances. Well, sometimes I'm wondering if they can see into that realm, why couldn't they also talk back?
I
I mean,
think
if the spirit could see them, right?
I think they do.
Maybe they do, Trina.
I
Yeah.
really do think that they do. I've been in positions where I've like woke up in visions and stuff, and literally my dogs have been there, and people have always seen me with animals protecting me and surrounding me.
Mm.
My sister and I, she had that dream where I was surrounded by every single cat in our kingdom. And a
remember
puma
that.
put its
Yeah.
paw on my shoulder, and I was like honoring and connecting with them. My sister thought she was lunch, and I was in a circle having sacred communication with these animals. So no, I think this is way bigger than most give it.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, and I never have seen, for instance, in a haunting where there's an animal that is present. There seems to be something that, which then
I
makes you
have.
think that the spirit, where there was a haunting and there was an animal, like a pet.
Hitler's the best example I ever saw of that. Down in those bases, he's got his little dog, and they can hear him whistling, and the dog and the little bell on its thing jingling.
Well,
Yeah.
Hitler
He
never
loved his
died in Germany. You know that.
I do know that, but there's a residue thing happening there, and they've captured it over and over and over again.
And it's interesting because the evidence shows that Hitler died an old man there in Uruguay.
Austria. Oh,
No,
really?
Uruguay. Yeah.
Uruguay, really?
Mm-hmm. They actually found the house.
I wonder if there's different kinds of energy, though. There's actual ghosts, and then there'd be, spirits, and then there'd also be imprints.
Well, you said one time imposters.
Oh, that too.
So, I mean, no, why not? I mean, the humans are right there prime for it. They believe that, this happened here. And so enough psychic energy pours into that.
Absolutely.
If I'm an energy hanging around and I'm going, hey, Trina, look at all that freaking energy down there. All we have to do is to assume what they think already.
Yep.
Come on. And then
absolutely.
It's just a thought.
I think it's possible.
Yeah,
very possible. Extremely possible.
Because ever since you said that, it's one of the things that you think about. It's my conversation I have with the conscious. I don't even know what it is anymore. It's not a god. It's not a goddess. But it's the thing that
it's a force.
A force. I said, what pisses me off is that I said, because I use that word now, I said, there's so many damn imposters.
Oh, it's ridiculous. But
everybody wants to be a god. Everybody wants to be a savior. Yeah. Everybody wants, and it's like, I'm tired of that.
Pendulum. When I was connecting with a pendulum and I'd speak with Lilith, the amount of fake Liliths that have come in, and I'd know straight away from how it swung and how they worded the beginning of the sentence. I'd be like, I'd drop the pendulum down and go cancel and reconnect. Until I actually got Lilith. And then she was like, well done, Kat. You're getting good at this. And I was like, took a while. It's like I eventually got you through. And it's like, I asked her, how come, you're very powerful. How come these spirits, these imposters can get in? And she goes, well, that's for your discernment, for you to control, your judgment.
Wow, that's wisdom.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
And it's straight away I could feel the difference, and it was a good way of learning with Lily.
I adore that gal. I mean, she, there, I was reading over the weekend on comparative analysis of goddesses. And what people don't understand is that if they're worshiping Jesus, then Lilith is his mother,
Yes.
because Lilith was Yahweh's wife.
Yes.
And you go, well, now wait a minute. And but I tell people this all the time. I have never felt a negative energy from whether it's the consciousness of what that's called Lilith, or if it's actually the true goddess of what we term to be creation. I don't know. I've never felt a negative sense.
Me
Never.
neither. I've even called on Lilith when I've been having sleep paralysis.
Now I can wear the shirt with her sigil underneath my, sweatshirt or pullover. It's sometimes amazing because it's almost like you see the freaking parting of the water. You just see some people that they can't see it. I know I'm wearing it, but there is an energy that is emitted from that sigil. It's powerful.
You know why,
And
Wayne?
why is that, hon?
Our subconscious mind can read it. It sees it through the
Mm.
clothes. We are so powerful and we just don't remember. But that's why your subconscious mind sees the sigil, and you get it as a feeling of vibration because it's emanating a frequency of vibration. So you're not seeing it, but you're feeling it, and you're feeling it through your etherical eyes, which can see the sigil. It sees it.
I'd like a Lilith t-shirt.
You do?
I would like one, yeah.
Oh, well, we
Yeah.
have to.
A
We'll make that
sigil.
manifest. I mean, seriously.
Yeah,
Hello,
don't you?
Lori.
You know
How
what?
are you
I
doing?
might want one of those too, Wayne.
Okay.
I'd
Violet
like it,
Brand,
yeah,
how are you?
definitely. It'd be like Superman.
You know,
Well, it is true. I mean,
when we
Yeah.
can start to understand the power of our subconscious strata and literally start to consciously create within that strata, and we unify on concepts and work together with those things, these things will be very powerful and they will manifest in the world. And this is how I've always seen that we would save our world.
I could see that.
Well, it would be because we could unify on one very simple concept. And through that, all of our different ways with sigils and prayer and all the religions and everybody as one humanity, all praying for correction in however you do it. If we could unify with one thing, just like simple healing of our water.
Bless the water.
Yeah,
That's what
it would literally transform the entire world. It literally would have
Absolutely.
that much of an effect. It would
Well, you're
change
blessing
the
everything
world.
with water,
Yes.
aren't you?
It's even
Everything
our
that
bodies. We're so much
Yeah.
water. So
Mhm.
when you bless the water, you heal the bodies, you heal the plants, you heal the ocean, you
You
heal
hit- yeah,
everything,
everything.
because everything is holding water, even down to its etherical part, because plasma is also water. Ether also has water in its principles. It
The
connects
whole,
to
isn't it?
water. It's completely
Mhm.
whole. Yes,
Yeah.
wholeness.
Goosebumps.
I know that, for instance, I have, the fourth pinnacle of Jupiter. And so
Yeah.
I found a t-shirt actually has that sigil on there. And I subsequently also have a necklace that has that as well. Lori, good to see you. I haven't seen
Hi.
you in a while, my dear. And now I can't wear that all the time.
Uh-huh.
I can't wear it quite literally. If it goes 2 or 3 hours, it becomes uncomfortable. It is actually at times it will actually kind of begin to burn the area where the sigil is at itself, and a burning sensation. And yeah,
Wow, that's powerful, man.
it is powerful because I'm looking at it right over there now, and it's
You know what's amazing? You know what I just literally saw, Wayne?
what?
That was expanding your energy field so much you were creating an inferno, a fire, and I just literally saw that you need to literally go and plug that straight into the earth, because that's what was happening. And
Yeah,
if
I
you
can see that.
didn't take that pendant off, you could have literally combusted because it was filling you with so much expansion, because Jupiter is expansion. So it was like,
Powerful.
and it's like, go
Spontaneous
ground that shit, my
combustion.
friend. Go ground that quick.
It's like, geez, I mean, but it's true. I mean, and I have it over on, in the office now over there and I don't put it with my other sigils. Freighter, Nathan is sending me, but his merchandise over on Etsy, you can go over there and check it out. Is just, he has some of the most powerful sigils, whether they be necklaces, whether they be emblems, whatever. Just to plug on that.
I think it's so wonderful because, when you practice, you
Yeah.
become very powerful, because everything about our whole existence is programs, and we manifest through our programs. So when you install new programs and you practice, those programs become anchored into the subconscious strata. Like when you drive your car, you don't have to remember how to put the key in and you just automatically do it. It's because it's a program now. So when we can beneficially start to program our own beings to support happy things, it's going to really change everything.
It does.
It does. It changes everything.
You just got to change the program.
Yes.
It is. And it's amazing today. Someone wrote me and it's interesting when people catch these epiphanies and it just blows their whole core values out. That when you look at what's happening today and how we begin to see, it's like an accumulation, and it's upon us. I mean, it's in every direction we look. AI is everywhere. And now this thing, did you read the second installment of what this chat bot did? I mean, it now wants to commit murder.
Oh my God.
I mean, and I'm going, Lynn and I are looking at it and I said, do you think we should be concerned at this point? I mean, and the person was writing, they said that they had actually went back and had talked to their friends and what have you. And he said, Mr. Steiger, thank you for what you do. And he says, sometimes you're a son of a bitch and sometimes you're a saint. He says, but when you mentioned that the world is now worshiping something they're not even realize they're worshiping, he said in the middle of the night, he woke up and he realized that what he saw, even when we're asleep, these devices now, which we call smartphones, etc., they're on 24/7. They're connected, he said, to another realm. He says, you got it. Yes. And he said, when he went back to his group of people, he said, they didn't, at first they looked at him like he was crazy. He says, don't you get it? He says, we go to church every Sunday morning.
Right.
We sit here, we worship, we focus in on this, but yet every one of us, and he says, I can look out in the congregation and every person's still on their phone.
Yep.
He says that has more worship because it has your attention.
Every day.
Yes, ma'am.
Every day. Not just on Sundays. Every day.
Yeah. I see every person I look at.
Oh, I bet you do. Is on the road, don't you, Kat?
I'm like, it really annoys me. I don't even like touching my phone. I only have to take it to work because they need to get in touch with me. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have one.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I have to tell you, when I was driving, when I first learned to drive, we didn't even know what a cell phone was. I still had party lines. I mean, if you can imagine that. We were out in the rural area and, they had one line.
Three-way.
Exactly. And you had to wait till the other person hung up.
Well,
I mean,
and then another, yeah.
And then you could always listen in if you catch them. It's like, hello, I'm talking here,
Right.
But
I remember my mom was so excited when the beepers came out, because that way she could let me know if there was an emergency, and she could beep me and I would know, call home,
Pages, pager.
Yeah, get my pager. Yep, my little beeper.
I'm going to get a pager. And so just page me.
Right.
You know,
To
that
another people.
technology still works very well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
I
not
don't
like
like
it didn't go anywhere.
Nope.
They just stopped
No.
using it, you know, and it's
Yep.
like, and if you really think about it, it was the early day Twitter. I mean, the pager was that you could send a short message
Yep.
and your
Yeah.
number, remember?
Yep.
Well, that's 26 characters, right? I
Yep.
mean,
It was better because you couldn't send a long message that
exactly.
you had to
You were
read and
limited.
that was depressing. Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
like basic to
Yeah.
the point.
Was it 26 characters, Wayne?
Oh, I don't know what it was. I know
That's
Lynn was
funny.
telling me when she was worked in ER as a nurse, she said there were times when she had 3 different pagers on.
Oh, correct.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Oh,
from the
God.
surgeons, one
Surgeon,
from,
doctors, yeah, the
Yep.
whole bit. And, you know, that's
and
how it
nurses
was done.
station.
Yeah. hmm
Yep.
Yeah. You
Got
know,
3 lines going. Yep.
Bonnie says, in-law says, I still have my pagers. There you go. Bonnie says, I used to wear my pager in my garter. I could dig that. Hey, Gilbert,
Yeah.
how you doing, brother? My first cell
So
looked like a
dinky.
walkie-talkie. Yeah.
Yes. I remember the
Yeah.
next
The brick,
telephones.
we used to call
Those
them the
were wonderful.
Motorola's. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I
remember
had
the Motorola. Mhm.
I had a mobile
Trying to
phone
make
in my Lincoln in '83. That was one of the very first Southwestern Bell, you know, but it was just it was actually a radio phone is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I remember.
Getting back to that whole thing, he said what freaked him out and his whole family. And he said, we realized we can't escape it.
Mhm.
Can't.
It's
Now, I
everywhere.
hadn't talked about that aspect, but he said what really freaked them out, they met as a family, and he said, we realized we can't walk away from it. He pointed out, he said, our daughter has a cell phone because if something happens at school, a school shooting or something like that, we want to make sure that we get the alerts, right? He says, my job, I have to have the cell phone as it does my wife. He said, you know, and he said, I just realized, he said, we can't escape this.
I know.
Mhm.
Now
As
that
soon as
kind
I
of
get
freaks
home,
me
it
out when
goes
he
on
says that
silent.
aspect, you know, it's like, we can't escape this.
Mm. It's something.
Trina, you're thinking, I can
could
see
go
your
all
eyes
day.
going, you're going back and forth going, yes,
I
yes.
do, because I
Mhm.
see so many potentials that I do. I think it's what timeline are you going to land on, you know? Because I
Oh,
really
it's-
do see that. Like,
it's,
yeah.
it's frightening, folks. I mean, it's just
Because
freaking frightening.
honestly,
I mean,
Wayne,
yeah.
It is
as
frightening.
much as people are completely 100% dependent and connected to this stuff, I mean, one good solar flash could destroy it all in one moment. So you know what? We survived just
freaking
fine
out.
before. We could do it again. So you know,
I'm not in disagreement with that. I
yeah,
mean,
I'm
but
like, you know, it'll be what it's gonna
the
be.
problem with that though, Trina, and I have no doubt it's going to happen. I mean, but
Mhm.
then what do you do with these people? I mean, you know, it's like a junkie. You can't just
Yeah.
go cold turkey.
They've forgotten how to communicate without
No,
using
they
a
will
face.
Yes,
like
yes,
heroin
No.
withdrawals.
It'll be all like
yes, yeah.
panic and maybe anxiety because they've forgotten how to do it natural
Have
that's
you
like-
seen what these children do
touch.
when their parents take away their cell phones? Like they do
Some-
$100,000 worth of damage to the house.
Yeah.
I mean,
They go
I've seen
absolutely
them
nuts.
break the sinks, the toilets. I mean, how do you even break those? That requires a sledgehammer and a lot of strength to break a toilet. That's big. I mean, to break the
Absolutely.
porcelain.
They wear a ton, man.
These guys go psycho. Can you imagine what's going
Yeah.
to happen if it all went down? Many people are going to literally snap.
They're
By the
going
way,
to,
Ballot
like,
Brand
just
says your hair
go
looks
crazy.
absolutely fabulous, Trina.
Oh, thank you,
Fabulous.
Ballot. Much appreciated. Thank you.
It's far out. I you know, we all dig it too.
Oh, thank you.
But you see,
Yeah, Wayne,
I
I'm
can't say that.
scared if the technology goes out in a lot of these big cities. I think people
Oh,
are going to lose
man.
their minds. They're going to lose their
I love
minds.
it if technology went. I tell you, the less technology, that's why I love my car so much, because it's got minimum tech.
Yes.
It does exactly what I need it to do. And every night when I get on the drive, I send gratitude and
Yes.
thank it and kiss the steering wheel and say, keep me safe as always. I love you. And it's like,
See,
No,
Cass, this is why I adore you. See, because this is what I have I have it right here all around, gratitude.
gratitude. Yeah, me
Gratitude.
too.
I mean, I'm
Every
so
day.
grateful for
Yeah.
both of you, Trina, for the years and years.
Me
And
I'm
too.
grateful for
No.
you, Wayne.
oh, well, thank you. I'm great. Cass,
I'm grateful for
I
you
s-
too, Kaz.
I'm
you
grateful
are
for
my
you too,
dragon
Trina.
lady. You're my
Yeah.
dragon lady because
I've been not as in touch with them because of this new job I've got. It doesn't let me give me time to look up anymore
oh,
because I'm just constantly looking out for people trying to kill me in cars in the city. That's why I need my Lilith t-shirt to protect
no
me.
doubt. We'll have to
So I
get
can-
that get that going for you because that is just stress. I mean,
It's awful, and it's like, and I am looking for another job, but it's finding a job that pays enough to cover my outgoings.
This group can help manifest these type of things. Jobs,
Yeah.
we can manifest homes
A
for people.
countryside drive.
Well, you know what?
It's awful, man. The city job, it's really
we
sucking energy.
someone said, Wayne, the AI is an egregore.
Mm.
And
I've
he
got to
says,
say,
you're
great.
right. It's more powerful than any God we know of. If it
I've got
hates
so
us,
great since this job, it's awful.
but let me get back to the point. This group can manifest things for people. Kaz, you're looking for a job that will, in the country, that you
in the
have
country driving.
country driving.
Gentle. Yeah,
Okay.
gentle and considerate.
What
and
we should do,
pleasant.
Trina, think about this, y'all. I'm including everybody because, get around here. Let's talk a second. We have the ability within this group to manifest.
Yeah.
And Kaz, if you're looking for a job, we can get as specific or we can get as general.
We do. I think the universe is trying its hardest to get me the sack anyway because it knows it's not good for me and it's not my path.
Remember when we did that series, It Works?
Yeah.
I did my list. I had 10 things on my list. 7 have come to pass,
Wow.
including a new home.
Mhm.
I don't think some people realize that, that's how powerful that's just what I did individually. Exactly. And if we can begin to go arm in arm in this thing, then Kaz, you're looking for a new job. Are you telling me that the universe and all of Great Britain in your area, that there isn't a need? And if there isn't a need, there is a need that can be created that where you are the right one to fit it. And it exceeds what you were looking to make. And I don't see that as an impossibility, Trina.
I don't either. I say that information is already there. You just connect to that ray and you bring it into your reality.
When we start pulling, one of the things when I used to teach, I was a prayer warrior. And one of the things that I would teach when we would have these prayer meetings, and we were doing some serious battle. If it was each other, I mean, oh yeah. But anyway, is the power of the power two. So 1 can put 1,000, 2 can put 10,000, 3 can put 100,000. Do you see where this goes?
Yeah.
And that is what happens when a couple come together and they make that bond. They make that vow, that contract. As long as that contract's in force, the word of a couple that agree, that speak the same thing, there's nothing that can come against it. Nothing.
2 or more come together.
2 or more.
Yeah.
So, Cass, we've put this out there. This will be on YouTube and the archives. And whoever listens to this in the future, I want you to think, well, did Cass get her job in a new place?
I will. It will be coming this spring, summer.
You see, now I don't have a problem hitting my horses up to that wagon.
Yes, we create. We are the creators.
It might be even better. Yeah, but it's it's finding the only job I can think of that's outdoors, apart from gardening, but that's only seasonal, is driving.
Well,
That pays, The rest is like not enough. It's just not enough. They don't pay enough.
Kaz, this is something I'll ask you when we get this, and as you have time, write down as specifically exactly that type of a job that you want. If you like gardening is a full year time round. It doesn't just have to be. It could be easily moved into, a greenhouse. But what I'm saying,
Sure.
write down, because here's something I'll share with you both and the audience. See, I taught sales, I taught motivation, and the thing is, with most people, people go through their lives in a vagueness. They don't really realize that. They say, yeah, I want to be rich. Well, how rich do you want to be? What does rich mean to you? Are you saying that you want to be rich because you want a lot of money in the bank? How much money do you want? How much money do you need? So what I'm trying to say, Kaz, if you will write down and this is your wish list, just write down that perfect job, determine what it is that you would be happiest doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it is the universe does provide, but how much money do you want to make? How much money do you need? And don't become poverty minded. Just be, people say, well, I don't want to be greedy. Okay, that's cool. But how much money do you need? If you really need, say, 1,500 pounds a month, but you're saying, well, but I can get by on 700 pounds a month. Well, you've shorted yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if you do that, Kaz, and if you put that down in very specific, and it comes to your home, describe your home. And I will tell you what, we will focus in on that, and we won't share it with everybody out there. I'll share it with just a few people that I know that will be diligent in that, and we will agree with you in that. And then we get to sit back and watch how fast it manifests. Because see, it's kind of that whole idea is that if a person isn't strong enough, then what we do on each side, we'll pick you up, we'll carry you.
That'd be awesome.
We'll help that energy
Exactly.
manifest in your world. We will bring forth that energy to manifest that in your world. It's a force.
I need some help for sure, because in this job I'm in, the city totally drains me every day.
It's designed to do that.
Exhausted.
It's designed. That's it. That's why I don't, people say, well, you want to go, if you ever want to go to Las Vegas. And I used to tell them the problem with Las Vegas is that it's a sucking machine. It's designed to suck the essence out of you. And that's why you leave those places and you're drained. You're like,
I'm totally drained. I'm
and usually broke.
I'll go so grey so quick.
Yeah.
Within a year, I've only worked there a year, and literally my whole front, everything's gone really grey. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I'm even getting grey eyebrows.
That's unacceptable.
White. It is unacceptable, which I don't want to be like.
Copper, add copper.
White eyebrow.
Copper. Yeah, and there's something else you can add too that will do it as well.
Copper.
So Trina, again, I see your eyes moving back and forth, so that tells me you're thinking.
Yeah.
Someone says, Lori says, don't come here. The energy is horrific. Yeah. Yoda wants to know, live on a farm. Would you like to live on a farm, Kaz?
No, I live in my perfect place. My house, my home I love is in the countryside, and it is so quiet here. I'm right on the edge.
Okay.
Literally in a cul-de-sac with
She manifested the house. She did
I remember
manifest
that.
the house. Yes.
I manifested this house, and it was exactly what the picture I drew.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even had
manifest the job. Yes.
And the daffodils.
We can manifest that job. And I remember that, Kaz, because you were living in the other place. I remember, you showing us. And wow, folks, we've been together around for a number of years. I mean, it's like, geez,
about 6 years now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
or more.
We've been together many times longer than people have been married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, no, I say that jokingly, but
It's true though.
I just love how this group, and there's a core of us. I mean, by that, I mean, there's about 1,000 of us that are just really in the core.
Been here a long time.
I love you guys from the heart. Really do.
Yeah.
You're my family. You're my real.
Yeah.
Even though I've never met you in person, it doesn't matter. The bond is amazingly powerful for me. Joyce Marie says, is Uber a consideration? Would you like to drive? I guess in your area. Do they have Uber? See, I don't want to deliver for anybody like Amazon or any of those people because they're not. I think this was like car, you would pick up passengers. Uber?
And they also have Uber Eats where you pick up food and then they tip you on the food too. So, but I don't know if you have those there, Cass.
I didn't know.
No.
Okay, see, she doesn't know about it, so they don't. You know what, Cass? You might be a very rich woman.
Up people because
no, you know what though? Food delivery. Food delivery is huge for people, especially elderly who can't get out of the house, like going and doing their grocery shopping.
I do it for the elderly for sure. That people that were, needed.
That might be a great new company for you to start.
Exactly what I was thinking. I mean,
because I can tell you, Uber is one of the biggest companies here in the United States. And it's been created in the past few years.
She could actually do this on her own as a private contractor.
Correct. And hire all the drivers.
Yeah, you clients that I look after.
Here's an idea, and we're just brainstorming. So here's what I would do in my off time. If this was the path, which sounds pretty good, I would go to the grocery stores or those that where people buy food.
Yep.
Is we would have them. You could even look at the farms around there. But then if I could get a list of people then this is how I'd approach it. I'd say, listen, if there was a service to where I could deliver your groceries to your customer where they wouldn't come in, would that be worth anything to you? And it is.
And there's also the extreme need of people who can't get out of the house. So they're depending on their children and their family members to do that for them. If you could handle the needs of those people in your family for a fee, and they would pay you because it saves them their gas, their time, they might live 2 hours away. There's, stuff like this. So this is a need. It's a service. It provides for a need.
Yeah.
And I think services for humanity and bringing essentials to people that can't do it for themselves is a huge business.
Taking
and the baby boomers, the baby
Sure.
boomers are expiring. They're getting towards the end of their life now. So this is going to be
Bite your
big
tongue.
business. I'm right
baby
behind you,
boomer.
love. Right
I know,
right
I'm
behind
just kidding.
you.
But
Just right behind you.
Marie says, and farms, they must have a need as well.
Correct.
Farms don't pay. The pay is
No, if you was to do it as a service, you're tacking on, your fee would be tacked on to
I would say, right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a number of different ideas, but I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth thinking about. I mean, the farms around here, they do, a lot of them that grow their own stuff have their own veg shops that people go to on the farm. And
Taz, we can get you out of something. We can get you into something. This group will because we're pushing you, man. It's like, all right.
Well,
it's aging me. I need to get out of the city. So because it's really aging me big time, and it's not making me well. My body's suffering. Yeah, my hand doesn't work now, and
we got to reverse that.
I see.
Yeah, it's just that I can't afford to be not bringing an income in. That's why I'm still in that job until I find something else.
Regina, I think it was Julianne. You were asking the question in the backyard. She said, was it Kaz that had a backyard with tall plants? Or was it Julianne?
Julianne.
I think it was Julianne. Yeah, I think it was.
I've got a backyard with tall plants. I've got big trees.
See?
You do.
Yeah. I remember when you moved in there.
Plant.
Kale.
I've been there.
The hell you say, the kale?
Yeah, kale. I went through winter wrapping it up in fleece and everything when it was frosty, so it protected it, and it survived. And I ate my first homegrown kale last night, and it was
Yeah.
amazing.
I bet it
It was
was.
like, oh my God.
So it's
Just one
interesting.
plant.
You raised that yourself. And so you're
seed,
actually,
yeah.
the plant is giving to you the energy that you put into it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just one plant, and it's took a long time for it to grow enough to make a meal, so I didn't take all the leaves.
Mhm.
Sure.
And it's took a lot of nursing and caring, and it survived. And I'm like, I grew it in a bucket. I
That's
grew it in a
awesome.
bucket off the floor. So it was
You know what just
cared for
happened
it.
to me? A magical thing with a plant. You know, iris plants are kind of hard to grow and very hard to make bloom. I have an iris plant that a client was going to throw away, and I decided to try to keep it and see if I could keep it living. And I've been working on it for 2 years, and this year is the first year it bloomed, and I got 7
Awesome.
flowers.
Oh, goosebumps. My
Excellent.
hair.
I'm like 7
That's
iris
awesome.
blooms. Yay.
I had a pot plant named Oscar.
Right on.
Dead damn thing was 5 foot high, you know.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
awesome.
And he liked the name, I guess, you know.
Fun.
I'm growing
Hello,
my
Oscar.
own mushrooms. I've been spawning my own mushrooms. I got from
Oh, yeah.
Amsterdam.
Oh, right on.
And I didn't think they were growing because it was too cold here, because I got them in winters. And I got the syringe sent over from Holland
Uh-huh.
with some straw treat and my syringe with the spores in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you have to wait for the mycelium to grow, the white stuff. Well, I've been speaking love. I moved it into the bedroom because I thought it needs to be with me, so I can give it love every night.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it spread all over. It's took months. It should only take a couple of weeks. But a couple of months later, it's going, and it's covered the whole of the thing from me giving it love every day, giving it fresh air 3 times a day in its bag, and giving it gratitude and telling the water it with it how much gratitude I have for that. And even the plastic bag gets gratitude, and the pegs on top. And it seems to be working, yeah.
It will work. That's because
I know
it's
it
truth.
will.
It's wow. That's true alchemy.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I'm going to start growing my own magic mushrooms.
Bernadette
Yay!
says she needs a car. Okay, cool. Well, all right, we'll get a list of this going together.
Yeah.
Well,
Izzy
ladies,
needs healing.
all right, we'll get a
I could
list.
talk to you guys forever. I tell you.
It's like, oh man, I'm looking at wow that out. It seriously felt like about 10 minutes.
Oh,
yeah.
has it been an hour?
You've
Yeah, it's
Oh
over
my
now.
gosh. No way.
given me a boost
it's
of
like-
energy. Thank you.
I mean,
No
we
way.
were here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that went fast. Really
It's like-
fast.
It went so fast.
You know,
I
all
just
right.
feel so much better. From
Kaz, we love you,
being
darling.
human.
You know,
Yes.
Thank you. I love you
Yeah.
too.
We love you too,
just
Kaz.
Seriously.
you're a beautiful spirit,
Mm.
and I have always loved it. And like I said, there are dragons now being reported all over the globe, and I always
sure
think
are.
of you on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw a show on it recently,
Yeah.
and I mean,
I
these
think of Kaz too every time, Wayne. It's so funny. I do too.
yeah, and the
I
one
saw
in
Dragon
Chicago
yesterday.
is the one that blew my
Yeah.
mind.
I saw
They were filming this thing off the John Hancock building.
so crazy.
Some bitch, it was a dragon. It was a freaking real dragon.
Yep.
I
I
believe so.
mean, and Lynn and I are
They're
going.
showing themselves, aren't they?
Yeah, she said, "Did
Yeah.
you?" She says, "You have a friend that," and I said, "Yeah, Kaz."
Yep.
She said,
Yeah.
"Well," she said, and Lynn
I
said,
saw one yesterday.
"Let one out."
On my walk.
Did she let one out? In other words, you have them,
I did.
you know, in
I let
the
one out on day release.
yeah, but folks, it was a dragon. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And you know,
What if
we
this is evidence that we make live our thought forms?
I can't argue. Can't argue.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Oh.
folks. Much love,
Okay.
Kaz. You can come back on
Much
again?
love to you.
Will you come
Too.
back on again?
Thank you.
Okay. We
Yes.
adore you. Everyone in the chat room, thank you.
We
All the
love you.
moderators, you know,
Yes.
much
Thank
love.
you so much,
Namaste to
guys.
you.
Much
And Miss Trina, see you next Tuesday.
Always.
Always.
Mwah.
All right, folks. We love
Love
you.
you,
We're
Jazz.
spreading out the love, and we're just sending out the
Yeah.
love, and we're sending out the good vibes. So
Mhm.
that's how we're going to do it. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
Much love, everyone. We'll
Much
see you
love.
again real soon. Most likely tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, can I get off of this thing?
It's always find that magic button, right?